If you're a chick operating a car on your own, doing business with a bent mechanic is like a knife fight in a phone box, and you're armed with a toothpick. Here's what you do. Women are soft targets as automotive consumers, and I'm getting pretty ticked off over dealerships and service centres systematically viewing half the population as fair game just because they're women. All this does is deliver more evidence to those prosecuting the argument that all men are bastards. Ripping off a woman just because she has a car is actually one of the last great bastions of gross gender bias in our society. This story is essentially how you can stop anyone fraudulently bleeding you dry via your car if you're a chick. Perversely, this whole issue seems to have escaped the ire of most feminists. Germaine Greer and her bosom buddies might prefer to vilify you in the street if you ever opine publicly that women who think they can have it all might actually be operating in a parallel universe. But the feministas seem deafeningly silent on the systematic financial violation of women in cars. And insofar as I can tell, the entire servicing sector is drowning in these rip-offs. This report originates from Julie, who tracked me down online after listening on Radio 2UE in Sydney. This was supposed to be an affordable standard service, at least that's how it started, from Kmart Tyre and Auto, a purportedly reputable and professional servicing operation. Julie gets the bad news and she's just not happy, understandably. The mighty Kluger, the great Camry of SUVs, has let Julie down. It's supposed to be intrinsically reliable, bulletproof. It's a Toyota. It's done only 100,000 kilometres, no off-road driving, and it's been serviced regularly. The bad news from Kmart Tyre and Auto is the lower front control arm bushes have lost their battle with Entropy. I hate Entropy. Don't get me started on the heat death of the universe. What was God thinking? Entropy has allegedly also claimed the front driver's side damper and matching tyre. Allegedly, the front brake rotors also needed machining and the air filter was cactus. The total proposed cost, a bit over $3,000. I'd need a Bex and a lie down after that. It's a big hit, isn't it? So I called Julie and we talk it through. And what I'm not hearing is any doubt that this work actually needs to be done. Julie has taken the advice of Kmart Tyre and Auto entirely at face value. The repair bill is going to put a serious dent in the family budget. She doesn't want to put the kids in a car that's unsafe, fair enough. So it's got to be done, right, this work. She has to cop it on the chin. And I'm thinking, does she? How do we know? Thankfully, Julie lives broadly in my neck of the woods in Sydney. So I put it to her that a second opinion is a good idea. And one of the cool things about being a lapsed engineer is that you can tell the good tradies from the bad ones pretty easily. And I know a real good one. I think of him as the Stig with a spanner, the car whisperer. Julie trots off to see Stig with a spanner. And frankly, I'm just hoping the repair bill will come down and get a bit more manageable. Perhaps some of this work can be safely delayed. Maybe she can budget for it over the next few weeks or months. Anyway, Stig with a spanner grabs his lightsaber, and not the gay one from The Force Awakens, the old school one from the 1970s. And he does his thing up on the Jedi mechanic's hoist. He does this, I don't know, Leonard Nimoy mind meld with the mighty Kluger, and he discovers exactly what the Vulcan hell is wrong with it. And the answer is nothing. The bushes intact and functional. The front shock absorber not leaking as alleged. Copa friggin' Sedig on the brakes as well. Air filter, clear as a bell. But the tyre pressures were way low, accounting for some of the premature wear. even though they were all still serviceable for thousands of kilometres to come. And to me, that just takes the cake, because Kmart Tyre and Auto serviced that SUV just 3 days previously. And last time I looked, checking the tyre pressures was a non-negotiable elementary part of all servicing. In my honest opinion, there are only two options. The more benign one is the Kmart diagnosis was merely grossly incompetent. But if that's the case, it's breathtakingly and comprehensively incompetent, 100%. Certainly not what you're paying for. But what's more likely, in my view, is this. A woman in an SUV fronts a service centre that's down on budget this month, and they invent some work that doesn't actually need doing, which pumps up their profit margin substantially. Arseholes. It makes me wonder how often this stuff goes on. Probably a lot more than you think. I'm discounting any possibility that Stig with a spanner could be incompetent, because I know he's not. That would be like watching Casino Royale and then finding out Daniel Craig is actually a woman. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But he does have the lips and the legs. My strong advice to you is, anytime you are face to face with a repair bill you can't jump over, especially if it doesn't seem like there's anything substantially wrong with the car, get a second opinion. Find a mechanic that somebody you trusts. Ask them to give the car a once-over. If they corroborate the initial findings, then I guess it's goose is cooked. You need to assume the brace position financially and hope the impact is ultimately survivable. That's bad, but at least you know for sure. Go on a mission. Treat it like an adventure. Find your own Stig with a spanner, because A, he'll do the job properly, and B, he'll save you thousands over the years. You know, Stig with a spanner didn't even charge Julie for the inspection, but he did pump up the tyres. He's a good bloke, but it's also a smart commercial play. It took him, 15 or 20 minutes, and he scored himself another customer for life. That's a bilateral win. I don't know about you, but I like it when nice guys finish first. One of the great legends of TV news in Australia is a guy named Peter Meakin. He's been news director of everything. He postulates from time to time, allegedly, that there's only 4 stories in top-rating current affairs TV. Neighbours at war, leukemia kid, what's really in food, and dodgy dealer. It's like that because none of these imperfect aspects of the human condition is going away anytime soon, and they do cut pretty deep. Except sausages. I think it's well established that they're made of toxic waste by now. And you've just seen the anatomy of a particularly dodgy dealer. So if you're walking a mile in Julie's shoes right now, make sure you get that second opinion, or you risk finding yourself bent over the workbench humming Moon River, which in my view certainly brings a whole new meaning to the term unauthorised service. If this has happened to you, tell me about it in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for regular updates. You can visit me online at autoexpert.com.au. I'm John Cadogan. Thanks for watching.